Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 8 of January. For those of you who are new here, this is a 31-day reset that we're doing together for you to invest in you, to love on you, and do everything that you need to do to have the best year of your life. And of course, since it's a Sunday, we're going to be doing a reset today. So I'm very, very excited because today, guys, you guys are going to get ready with me for church. So let's get into it. It's my first time going to church in like 3 years. I found a church home my senior year of high school. Actually worked with one of the worship leaders, and she invited me to the church. She was like, you should totally come. And so I started coming, and mind you, that was like the beginning of my adulthood, sort of, because I was taking college classes at the University of Cincinnati. Like, I didn't have a regular school schedule, so I had a lot of freedom, and it was just interesting to me that I chose in my spare time to still pursue God. I think since I've been in college, of course, I haven't made it a priority to find a church home. And so I'm very, very excited because today is the day that I'm taking that big girl step and I'm actually going to church. I was scrolling on TikTok late last night and I came across this video from Passion, and it was of Sadie. And if you guys don't know who Sadie is, make sure to go check out her podcast. I used to listen to those a lot. I actually haven't listened to her in quite some time, but she was talking about how often we, as God's children, will be entering spaces outside of things like Passion and church. We enter new spaces like a college campus, or we enter a new job, or we just enter a new phase in life. We often, kind of like dim our light in this world. And so often we're told over and over again, like, we don't do that over here. That's exactly what she said. She was like, we don't do that over here. This is not Passion. Like, you do not have to shine your light as bright as you are. Like, chill. Her message resonated with me so much because regardless of where you are, regardless of what you're going through, you should always strive to shine his light, because you never know what you can expose in the darkness. And even when it makes others uncomfortable, you still have to show up. And that goes back to my notion of like taking up space. Like, you have to be willing to take up space, make room for others, whilst also having compassion for other people and understanding where they're at. I think more than ever in this time of my life, I'm an understanding Christian. I understand that everyone is not where I am on my faith journey, and I'm also not where other people are on their faith journey. And I think that's allowed me to connect with a lot of people and show them God's love in a way that they've never seen it before, because I don't judge. I don't judge you because you don't read your Bible, because some people don't feel as though it's necessary. But when you have a time in your life where God has shown up for you when you shouldn't have been shown up for, when you didn't know how you were going to make it through, but somehow every day you managed to have the energy, you managed to pass the test, you managed to get the certification even though you felt like you weren't worthy, that's him. And when you have him show up in your life and you make room for him and you make time for him, you will start to see him in more ways than not. And it's just such a beautiful thing when you allow God into your life. I get so much from watching videos online of like Sadie and of Michael Todd and of Sarah Jakes Roberts. What needs to happen now is I actually make time to fellowship with others, because a lot of times I feel like on my faith journey it's been alone, and that's okay. But I preach so often about community and building community and whatnot, and I just think that it's very important to remember that godly community is the most important community to have, especially if I want to grow stronger in my faith. To know me better is to know him better, and I have to pursue him in a way that I have never pursued him before. That's what he's saying to me in this season, and I'm going to listen. Let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite ways to spend time with him? Because I'm very curious. I think everyone is so different. Like, some people like to spend time in prayer, some people like to spend time reading, some people like to spend time listening to worship music. Like, let me know down in the comments, what are your favorite ways to spend time with him? The makeup is turning out very flawless. And for perfume today, I mixed my Valentino and my Her by Burberry perfume. I love mixing Valentino with different stuff. It just smells so good, guys. Blush is the last step. So here's my little OOTD for church. I just got on this flannel. I'm pretty sure it's from Pretty Little Thing. This top is from Pretty Little Thing. It's like their slinky basic bodysuit tops. And then I have on my jeans from Zara. Got on my movement watch, my little Kate Spade bracelet, and then I don't know what purse I'm going to wear. I'm probably going to introduce in like a peak of yellow, just because I want to wear some simple shoes, and my yellow Uggs are the most simple shoes that I can think to match this. Besides my Tasman like white Uggs. I might wear those. They're a little dirty, so we'll see. So now that we're all ready for church, it's about 11 o'clock right now. I have a podcast episode. If you guys aren't familiar with my podcast, make sure to go follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you like to listen to your podcast at. All podcast episodes drop on Sundays at 12 p.m. It's been that way since we started last year, and I'm very, very excited because today's episode is about controlling your climate. I think it's very important for all of us to be able to understand, and you have to be able to control your own inner climate, because at the end of the day, you can't change the weather, you can't change the seasons, you can't change the way that the people around you act, but you can control your own self and your reactions. I talk a lot about proactivity versus reactivity, and I've talked about a lot about that here throughout this series, but I really divulge deep into the topic in ways in which I'm able to remain proactive versus being in a state of reactivity, because it can be very toxic and draining. So make sure you guys go check out that episode. It is up now. For the reset for today, we're going to church. That is the perfect way to reset your week, get your mind set on God. This year, I'm not playing, y'all. Like, I prioritize a lot of other things. I really think that God is my foundation, and like at the center of my world should be me. Really what I should be focusing on is my purpose and making myself happy. And at the end of the day, that looks like showing up for me every single day. And sometimes that's going to look like saying no to other things, other people, other opportunities. But at the end of the day, I should have peace within myself, because I know that if I'm serving myself, I'm serving God. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm serving Him. So if I'm serving myself, then I'm serving my purpose.
To learn what I've been through my time. I used to be afraid to try. Cause I was too afraid of knowing. As on the side, Lord, all will be done. Mine is the kingdom, the power, the glory.
This is why you leave the house early, because it's saying my tire pressure is low. Add air to tire. So I'm about to add some air to my tire. This is so hilarious to me. Try to stop and get the air. I look at my tire and there's a nail in my tire. I just talked about on my podcast yesterday how sometimes it's gonna rain, it's gonna pour, the world is gonna come around you. You might walk outside and your tire is flat, but you're not gonna worry so much because it's not your problem, it's just a problem. And that's so crazy that I talked myself up for today, because today is the day, the first time ever in my life of all the like 5 years that I've had a car, that my tire is flat. Although the enemy was hard at work, I did not allow that to deter me from doing what I said I was going to do, which was go to church. I took a Lyft. It was about $25. I was not expecting to have to pay that, but it was well worth it because the service was amazing. And of course, after church, we headed out to Forno for some brunch. I just got a Hawaiian pizza, and Jalen got some chicken parm. The service is absolutely immaculate there. The vibes are amazing. And if you're ever looking for a good brunch spot in Columbus, go to Forno. I just got back to my apartment, and I'm so excited because we just got back from church, and I wanted to show you guys the new mug that I got from church. This is literally so nice, and they gave me a little connected card, and I'm just so excited about this new year and all the things that God is doing. The sermon that was talked about today, they started a new series. It's called The Master's Degree, and he's going to be teaching 7 lessons on how you can master, I guess, like your faith. Oh, and by the way, this is so random, but I did find my Refi lip gloss, and Refi, if you want to sponsor me, please do, because I am obsessed with this lip gloss. First of all, the applicator in and of itself is literally so cute. But back to what I was saying. So service was so good. He talked about how when we are going through change, right? Most of us aren't willing to change unless the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of going through change. And so for me, I don't ever want to get to a point where I am so bad and deeply into my habits that they are toxically affecting me that I have to embark on change. And I think a lot of us wait until the relationship gets toxic, the grades get bad, the weight is really packed on for us to make change. But I think it's okay for you to make the decision today to start doing better for yourself, to start investing in you, and to start doing the things that serve you and also him better. The word that I'm choosing for this year is just better. Like, I want to do better for him. I want to do better for myself. I want to do better for my community. And that looks like taking the time time to really go through seasons of disorientation. I'm gonna put on the screen right here the chart that he showed in church today, but he talked about how when there's change, you go through a phase of disorientation, everything's crazy, and a lot of times we will look for an off-ramp and like a reason to fall off and just go back to, what we've always known. But once you get through that period of disorientation, you will find a period of orientation, and then you will get to a place of peace, a place of contentment, a place of promise, a place of joy, and also a place of maturity. And that comes from the change. And even today's lesson and how I just said yesterday, sometimes you're gonna walk outside and your tire is gonna be flat and you're gonna need to be somewhere, and all hope is supposed to be lost. You can still find joy in that experience because you know that is an experience that is going to cause you to grow. And me, a person who's always been a believer, I think a lot of times I would magnify the problem and really get stressed out and have anxiety and feel like everything that I had planned no longer can happen because of this one inconvenience. I could have easily said, I'm not going to church anymore because my car got a flat and that is what it is. But I still chose to go. I got a lift and I went to church. My friend brought me home. We got brunch afterwards. We had a very fruitful conversation. And it's just like the devil will be hard at work to try to bring any sort of obstacles or things your way to stop you from doing what you said you were going to do. The thing is, I feel like I shouldn't have to make promises to myself to show up and do what I said I was going to do. And I was just talking to a guy about this because he said he was going to do something and he didn't do it. Because I said like he made a promise, but he actually did make a promise. But then I said to him, I'm like, you shouldn't even have to make a promise to me to do something. When you say you're going to do something, you should just do it. You should simply just do it because you're supposed to be a man of your word. And I feel like this year I want to be a woman of my word and a woman of the word and do the things that I say that I'm going to do and exemplify the things that I'm supposed to on a regular, consistent basis. And that looks like checking myself, like there's a lot of things that I do that I'm not necessarily proud of. And there's a lot of things that I've done that I'm not necessarily proud of, but that's why I love tomorrow. We're about to start the Sunday reset routine. I'm starting to really get into my finances this year. And so we're gonna sit down and do our weekly budget. I plan to go to the grocery store, but obviously I have a flat tire. I've been trying to call the dealership all this afternoon because I'm pretty sure I paid for a tire warranty when I paid for my car, but they haven't been answering. But there's always the Chevy website, so I think I'm going to go on there and try to book an appointment to have my tire serviced and get a whole new tire. But yeah, I'm not worried. I'm literally not worried at all. I'm not going to allow this to take my peace, my joy, take me off of my trajectory, because at the end of the day, I control my climate. Let's go over to my couch and let's chill for a sec. So on Thursday, which was January 5th, okay, on January 4th, I spent $13. I spent $13. And what did I spend $13 on? I don't remember. And I spent $35 on 3 different things on the 5th. And then on Friday, I spent $190. I think I erased it. On the 6th, I spent $190. I spent $16 at the hair store. On the 5th, I spent $18 at Brassica on my food. Expense tracker, we'll look at that. My oil change was actually free. My car wash, I had budgeted for $20. It was actually $12. I got like a pedicure. I had budgeted for it to be $70, but it was actually like $90, guys. It was ridiculous. I'm not gonna put my income source because I'm not gonna put that on there. But for the purposes of this, I'm not gonna show you how much I'm putting in here, but I will show you like what I budgeted out for this week as far as expenses is concerned for this paycheck. And that's including also last week. Well, like this weekend. So I paid for my braids, my gas, a car wash, and then a random expense is this dang plastic tire. I'm going to budget for $200. Now, what I'm gonna have to pay, we still don't know, but we're just gonna budget for that. And then as far as bills are concerned, I also have to pay my car note not this week, but like in this pay period. And then I also have to pay for my electric bill and my water bill. I'm gonna budget for like $150. As far as expenses go, groceries, I want to put aside about $50 for that. We're gonna put $50 aside for that because all I need to get is chicken thighs and like tuna for tuna salad. Normally what you would do is calculate all of that. So actually, we're gonna calculate all this. I'm gonna show you guys, like I'm saying. So you would come from here, everything, the income total, you would take that, subtract whatever this cumulative is for here. What's left over, you would then move over to here and then subtract and keep going. And then you would end up with a total remaining at the end for like whatever type of funds you want to do. Let's say if this number was $1,000, I would then subtract 503 from that and have left over 497, right? I would have 497 left. Now, I would see that, oh, in my bills, I still have to cover 200 plus 202 plus $150 worth of bills, which is in total $552. So, in all actuality, I don't have enough money to then do however much for this tire. So then I would be able to see like, okay, for this tire, I really need to budget and find something that's cheaper than $200. Or I need to find something, a way to make myself eat all this week on less than $50. That's a way that you can kind of like check for yourself and see. And that's why it's really, really helpful, especially as a college student, to budget out and see. And just throw out random numbers just to kind of like see the combinations that you can do. Because what I was doing for a long time was just waiting for my finances to go wherever they could go, and it would just flow wherever. And this year I'm not doing that. Like I said, we're doing proactivity rather than reactivity. So this is what you need to do. But I just wanted to show you guys that little exercise. It's really good to budget. That's something that's new for me. I've always kind of like used apps to see where my money was going, but I was never planning where my money would go. And that's something that I'm really looking forward to doing this year.